Jufure, ayamoe, tubabola samba, ayamoe, santankuro dala, ayamoe, kunta kinte Jufure, ayamoe, diye sandi munku joyoto, ayamoe, kurane kinte dima, ayamoe, bala ninjufure.
This place is a very historical place, long since then we are not even born. We do see Kunta Kinte's films, in videos, in cinemas, and so on. In the future, all these structures, old structures that were here during the colonial era would vanish. They would all collapse and fall off. And then, if that happens, when the tourists come, there will be nothing that they will see. And reading it from books or literatures is not enough. What is more important is those structures Kunta Kinte left here should be maintained. You see?
Correct. Wow.
I have been in the civil service for 30 years. I retired as an agri officer. I was working with the Department of Agriculture. But this area is a very historical place where I have interest in staying. Even now, though I have retired, but every day I am within this community because of the potentials it has in terms of history and the culture I am part of.
This is the Kunta Kinte Island. It was the main slave shipping point from the Gambia. When slaves are brought from different parts of the region like Senegal and Guinea, they are kept here before being shipped to the United States. This is an important historical site in the West African slave trade. It is even listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
It seems what people should have tapped from Kunta Kinte, it is very low. Nobody is making interest in making a big follow-up. Because if you make good follow-ups, you can build a lot of things out of it. And Kunta Kinte's sacrifice can even develop these two communities, Albreda and Jufure. But because of the people are benefiting though, but that benefit is not coming back to the community. And Kunta Kinte's sacrifice for the benefit of his community, this is not happening. And if you go to the island now, you will be surprised. The island is being eaten up by the river bit by bit, and the brick is fallen. The houses there are old. So that should have been a very good place for tapping tourist interest, but it has failed because very rare. Our leaders would visit that area to find out what is going on there. I wish I have that powers. I would have rebuilt that island, make a good wharf there, even with good houses inside, furnish the houses, so that sometimes when the tourists come, they will be spending the nights there and provide light for the island. That's how you attract tourists. But this thing is not happening that way.
Everybody who knows about slavery, our ancestors become the victims. And then if you look at Africa in general, we are at this level because of one reason is because when all the potential people of Africa who should have laid the foundation of us were all been taken into bondage or slavery, and they left empty some left empty compound, some family get deserted. They should have been everything for Africa. They should have laid foundation for their villages, for their countries, and they have all been taken and explored and taken to Europe, where they continue to build their families to become everything there. Some of those families will become scientists or whatever you think about in Europe and America and different part of the world. So definitely, so people coming here, either being an African descendant or European or a Gambian, it is a lesson. Because knowing that Jufureh brother know how popularity it is around the world. If you come here in real terms, you wouldn't see the popularity it has And when you look at the development-wise, it's not there. Nothing absolutely is there in all sectors. People who know this community, looking at even the population, many of the young youths have all gone away, either in Serekunda, and now many have gone to Bagwe.
Though the island was used for slave trade, interestingly enough, it was also used for the abolition of slavery. This is truly a place that needs to be preserved and made more attractive. This is why Ghana is a major destination for Africans in the diaspora, because they branded themselves and utilized their culture, made it a source of revenue by restoring historical sites that were once used for the slave industry. Now imagine what would happen if Gambia had done the same thing.
Wala jakalole fanawot ala jakalole bala fa warata saka alle kinte kundaji be ni ko e kunta kinte ya be jet molbe nyim bungol len to tente nyi alhalo ibikala jibe ro bungol be boyla samabe fenkala nyamo bulda beni nyamo abala fa ajibe abala fa warata abala fa warata yo imagine abala fa warata. This is the birthplace of Kunta Kinte. You can see, just look at the situation of the houses with all those tourists coming here during the season. This is where we do seated them or bring them, but with all this with all the money they make out of roots from Jufureh, because if you talk about Jufureh, it's all about Kunta Kinte, and people have been coming in and out going, but this family actually particularly, they are not benefiting nothing out of it. The only thing they benefit from the tourists small. When tourists come, they will be selling this hand fan, calabash, or doing pounding here. That's where they get their benefit from. But the family actually are not benefited. Just look at the situation here. It's very sad. The woman sitting there, Aja Mariama Fofana, will be taking care of 60 people at the same time, sending them to school, feeding them, clothing them. So it is very, very sad actually.
wol nin kumbole ka bajang kunta yelo be min bala America ni wol nata je koyo ko alta la banko kan nyele be je ni nata inin kumbole ka bajang kati ka folo kuntul kamin de pass kata min tole.
The saddest thing is most of tourists don't even want to go to Kintekunda now because there is no strict policies about tourism with the tour companies. Whatever whoever is coming here, it's like whatever. When I come here, whatever I want to do it on my own. Definitely, what we expect tourism to be improved, and they also need to create a lot of activities around this site that will make tourists also to invest, but not only come in and go. You should come and spend. This is what we expect, and this is what is happening here. People come and go. The tourist board that used to bring tourists here is no more happening. Yeah, you will see tourists who will go to the island. They wouldn't get happy, or they've gone to the family, what they see there, they're not happy. Because looking at hearing the name of the Kunta Kinte Island and expectation that you come with, when you got there at the end of the day, you don't find somebody, you feel the situation there, become very terrible, you don't get happy, you get upset, and you start questioning, what is the government doing about this? Many thousands, even Gambians, not even tourists, Gambians will ask about it. I could remember when I was we were all little boys. Tourist boats come here, they get anchored, we start moving this road up to the museum and to the village, and we come back the same way for more than 40 years. I was telling, look, we have to develop, we have to graduate, we have to look at the world, we have to go into culture now. This cultural tourism and ecotourism, these are important things around the world.
I go a lot of places like the villages, and I see how women are suffering because there is no work at the village. They have to go to the farm, feed their kids, and that one is not enough. If they have their own personal skill, I think they can do it at home while training their kids, and they can make a monthly income out of it. so that when tourists come, they will have something to take along. Not only visiting the Kunta Kinte Island, but they will have some gifts that are made from the village, and they will have the cultural experience and everything. That's why we use the CFO building as the Women's Center right now. We have to change a lot of things in the village so that tourists can come and stay. Because when the tourists come, they don't stay, and it's damaging the village.
There is a lot of opportunity here. The river, look at it. We could have get people move from here, going to visit the South Bank a day, come back. You have Fonyi here. You have Kiang around this end here. You have Jara, you have around Manina and all these places. These are all important way. You can go, even go to Doke Island, visit there, come back to here again. People traveling, coming here, going to the island. We feel we need to make people feel, because there's a point around that end of the village where people can travel and go to the island and feel how these people have been transported from the mainland to the island directly. Because this was not the place they used to take slaves into, but there was the other far end there. So we could have added another more feelings to the guest by taking them through those areas. And then I will also preserve that heritage site, because nobody's going to that place. So we'll give more life to that heritage like San Domingo. Because people are not going there. The site is just there, but nobody goes there. Very few, if it is 100%, maybe one person goes there every year. If you look at the statistics, people coming to visit here, we can say it's only the children, which are school-going children, who will come, students who will come and visit this island. But looking at the adults, I think if it is 100, we can say maybe 15% or something like will come and visit. Or even less than that, far less than that. So living with your history in your own country, or a Gambian outside Gambia coming for holidays here, which definitely is very unfortunate. I think it is important for you, because if you know where you come from, you always know where you're going to. You see? So definitely it's important for us to know where we come from, which is the history that our ancestors have gone through, how they've been victimized physically and mentally, to know about this history. That will give us a better and more strength wherever, even whereas we live in Europe or in America, elsewhere. That will give us more strength. Because at the end of the day, what become our desire is whatever we generate is back home. I am here to collect what they've taken from my ancestors, to take it back home, to invest it there, to make other people to benefit. But if you also want to stay there again, enjoy it there, oh, it's unfortunate. That if the next thing is, we'll all want to go and leave this country. For who? Only women. So it's important you come and learn your history, know who you are. You know?
Binta Kinte be baluri wato minna. Ina tele promiso diala ko ila nyin koda. Ba do kulale. Ka Kinte wulu Kunta Kinte wulu tanyi sukola kono. Lefta dunia be alon ko kunta bota nyi sukola kono. Alo momo kala fi I wulu so e nyinya. Birim Binta Kinte manfa. Wallahi do dita amanke. Ya kumboni minata waya diandi bulu. Ye molu kumande ngando ye ngatulungoli ke ye nana talol samba. Yete ke business rangote dunia kono. Birwo Binta Kinte fata fado ko beje Mariama Fofana. Hani kabin tolu na mana nyato tale soto. Mol ka nyaawale fang alka tolle tam roste mol ne muna far rosla to wala mun tolle bala faada foloti rosla nani stain tema ma polo mbarali alo ne sangi jellem Jufureh albadari fonin ka sey ko ma bari manyato tasoto Jufureh albadari o pagnomi Gambie la senta mu jannati la baludulam jannati rasol be janni do kuta na fondin kel sidaha binto len dinugol fele 40 kabe yayolla akata bala fati ikadi ndingol je fenta ya ni hadama dingo na e man fengo sota aka bula kule kona manya nakela yo wole bata bentol kanja be batarin balbe batarin dingol be batarin dol be je wala ko da kono musole ke dani kenyol fata e dimbal tumul ntol bin bebe lo rinjang ntol be kenyol fata yenna dimbal tumbulo ko ntol bo balu lambe boy lambe wul lambe na dimbal do ko ndet
guy who wrote about Kunta Kinte in US has done a good job. Because if not, a lot of people would not know what happened here. You see? If you see some tourists, they come here every day, every week, every day, every week. They have read something somewhere. Somebody has written. But the community itself has not done anything. They have not written down anything about their relative. What he did, how he suffered, how he was captured. Because he was captured in the bush, where he went to find firewood. That's where he was captured. And he was maltreated in the interest of the community. He could have killed himself or do something else, but he said no. His hands were tied up and he was drawn to the island and parked there for shipping. You know, that is very wrong. But somebody who has done that authentic report should have been within the community he is from, either Jufureh or Albreda, because these two communities, you cannot separate them. But nobody did that until somebody in the US, because finally he was taken to US, he married there, he had children, he had grandchildren. Those are the people who wrote about him. But the best report would have been the report from Juffureh. Would have been more rich, because that is going to be more authentic, because that will not be hearsay, because he's from that community. But nobody has done that. Sustainability is the problem of this community. Not only the community, the country as a whole. Sustainability is very important. In anything one is doing, you should think of how to sustain that, especially historical events like this. This structure should be maintained, because the island is one of the important main structure, because that's where slaves are packed and shipped to America. So if that island is being destroyed now, gradually, so in the next 30 years, the island will not be there. Because if you go there, there's nothing you will see. And that is going to hinder the progress of our tourist industry.
You'll be surprised to hear that not so many people know that Kunta Kinte is from the Gambia. The younger generation don't know about Jufureh and the history it contains. We need to relearn our history and pass it on to the next generation, like this guy is doing.
I started the brand after the incident of George Floyd. I was really frustrated and mad about the incident, so I was looking for answers. I started reading books about African culture and watching documentaries about African history. So I came across a YouTube video, and the sad thing about it was a white guy who was narrating the history of Kunta Kinte. And I was really disappointed and sad about it, because I personally believe that African history should be narrated by African people. We need to narrate our own history. So I decided to come with the idea. I wanted to communicate to the younger generation so that they would be proud of their history, their culture and heritage. I said, you know, what can I do? I cannot write songs about our history and I cannot write books about our history, but how can I have the younger generation's attention? So I decided to start a clothing brand called Jufureh to communicate to the younger generation about our history, because I personally believe the best way to communicate to this younger generation is through fashion, and what you wear is that's what you communicate with. So I tried to narrate African history through fashion, and basically Jufureh is just a movement about our history, our culture and origins.
Another example is Senegal's Gorée Island. People are always visiting Gorée. Even Gambians that have never been to Kunta Kinte Island visit Gorée. This is because of the way Gore is. It is made interesting and beautiful, so people are excited to visit the place. But not much is being done with the Kunta Kinte Island.
No, I think not actually Ghana have taken or Senegal have taken things more than us. There is no much investment in the heritage, in the cultures, in nature. Tourists don't want to be staying in the five-star hotels. They've been living in those things in their homes. In Serekunda, the same thing they can see. So they just want to go in the real Gambia. They want to see the real nature. So it is the authorities and private people who need to come out to explore some of these opportunities. The opportunities are there, either on the mainland or on the river. The opportunities are there. So it's just that because if you look at the island, tourists have been coming here for more than 30 years. Things they've been seeing there, the same thing has happened there. You went to the Kinde family, what you've seen there, this is what happened there for that's decades. So some of these things need to be the product need to be developed, and Gambia also need to compete with the country by developing more products. Not only in here, if you go to other sites in the Gambia, if you go, they become terrified. We don't have to be stagnant at one point. We have to get these things moved. Everything has to be developed. If this year you come, or next 2 years you come, you see a different. Because we are competing with the countries. If you come to my compound, the same thing you see there. And when you go to Patrick someplace, maybe sometime you can see another thing there, or Ghana, whatever, you can see another different thing every now and then you go. You see? And then other countries like Senegal, we didn't have nature reserves. Look at Senegal, Fatala. If you go to Bara, in the season, high season, almost 3/4 of the Gambian tourists in the morning who cross to the North Bank, they all go to Senegal. How many Senegalese tourists will come to Gambia? What we have, things we have like here, Senegal, they have Gore. This island is more important to me because Gore has been saddled by too much things, too much interference. Here it is natural, everything is there natural. And this island has been used for slavery and was at the same time used for the abolition of slavery. Some of those areas were used only for slavery. They weren't used for abolition. So this is a very unique site.
I love everything in Jufure. Just one thing that we need is that to bring Jufure back, because I feel that we are losing it.